How's it going, all of you beautiful people around the world? My name is Ryan, aka Blackbeard TCG, and in today's video I am bringing you guys my smoker deck profile. Now, for all of you people that just want the deck list, there you go, it's on the screen. You guys know how I like to do my deck profiles. It's just all right there, so you know, you guys don't have to click through and this and that. I hate when people do that. So you know, it's there for you to take, but all I ask in return is that you hit the like button, you subscribe, you hit that notification bell, so at least that way in the future you're able to do it again, right? At least support me somehow. But for the rest of you, guys, the rest of you amazing people around the world, thank you so much for sticking with me and watching the Smoker Control deck profile. So right off the bat, right, you might notice that we're not playing the 5-cost Smoker, this one here. Now, for those of you that don't know, the 5-cost Smoker has 7,000 power, and when it has 1 Dawn, if there's a character that has a cost of 0, it gets double attack. Of course, it's a really, really good character. There's multiple ways, especially playing back, in terms of manipulating card cost, so you're going to have this effect live pretty often. But in my build, I'm not running a single copy, and that's because my build of Smoker is very, very defensive, whereas that Smoker is a little bit more on the offensive. For me, I want to control the board. I want to play slow. I want to be able to really just pop anything that gets in my way, be able to block multiple attacks, be able to counter multiple attacks, and then fight on my terms. I feel like black, when you play it as control, has a lot of really fun things that it can do, and Smoker just really, really adds into that. So if we just go ahead and pull up Smoker here, so that way you guys could take a look. So Smoker, his ability is you give him 1 Dawn, and during your main, you can lower the cost of one of your opponent's characters by 1, and if there's a character with a cost of 0, it gets 1,000 power. So the idea behind it is you basically are able to attach 1 Dawn, and then with that 1 Dawn, it becomes a 7k power body, which is perfect because usually you want to attach 2 Dawn and then swing into the leader, so that way your opponent has to commit 2 cards from their hand, or they have to use an event. Either way is good. But with this, you only have to use 1 Dawn in theory, right? That's the idea behind it. But you can also use it in a way where you're just using it to get -1, so it can enable your other plays. That way it can enable your Sakazuki to blow up cards where it's only a cost of 5 or less. Being able to have that extra -1 can bring it from a 6 cost down to a 5 cost. Now all of a sudden it's in range, right? You could do the same thing with Kuzan. Kuzan -4 into Sakazuki allows you to pop almost everything in the game. If you have your 10-drop Kuzan, obviously it's 5, and then you guys see where I'm going with this. So you're able to basically have that extra -1, where a card like Marineford we're not running as well. If I just go ahead and pick it up, Marineford. So Marineford basically is you can -1 to up to what of sorry, I do this all in one take, I'm stumbling over my words. You may rest this stage if your leader has a navy type. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 to their for this turn. So for me, it's like you already have Marineford built into your leader, so that's already good. And that's another reason why I think that Marineford is just way too weak of a card. But that's for a topic for another day, or that's a topic for another day rather. Okay, so now let's talk about the build, right? So we are running a bunch of 2k counters. If you take a look, we're running 4 Suru 2k counter, 4 Sengoku 2-drop, 4 Garp 2-drop, and 4 Tashigi 4 Tashigi 3-drop 2k counter, right? So Suru has 2k counter, Sengoku has 2k counter, Garp has 2k counter, and Tashigi has 2k counter. This is going to allow us to counter a ton of attacks, especially in conjunction with our 2 big blockers. We have Borsalino, who's 6k power on our opponent's turn, and then Hina, who is a double blocker with 6k power, right? 6k power is pretty damn good, and when you add 1 2k counter to that being 8k, that's pretty formidable. Then, of course, obviously, if you have other cards in hand that you can defend with as well, you have your Impact Wave. you're going to be pretty formidable on the defensive end. We also play our Corazon as well. That's a 2-drop. That also has counter as well, but it's a blocker, right? So in total, we have our 3 blockers. We have our Corazon, we have our Borsalino, and we have our Hina. So if you put those 3 blockers along with all of those 2K counters, you have a pretty formidable defense. Then we play Kuzan because he can replace himself by drawing 1 card. But then also for Sakazuki, this is self-explanatory, he's able to pop a card on the field. He will allow you to start popping anything in the game. So that is Sakazuki. And then of course you have your Kuzan to close out games for that late game play. Because remember, we are completely fine with the game going late because we want to control the board. So those are all the characters. Now let's talk about the events. So I'm playing 4 Great Eruption, 3, I believe it's Meteor Strike. It's the Japanese version here. Let me just make sure it's called Meteor Strike so I'm giving you guys the right information. And I don't know how to spell meteor. There we go. Yeah, so I believe it's called, Meteor Volcano. It's called Meteor Volcano. So this is Great Eruption. This is Meteor Volcano. So yeah, this one's really good as well because you can kill one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less, as well as for its trigger, you could draw 2 cards, trash 1 card from your hand. So that's always nice. But more importantly, you could just go ahead and get rid of those chump blockers when you're trying to go for game. Again, you can get that extra... you're able to pop something by using Smoker. All of a sudden you get it in the range. If you use Kuzan and Smoker, now it's in the range to drop this. So it's really, really cool to be able to have access to that. I feel like I don't need to run 4 copies of it. I could see a world where some people might, but I think 3 is enough. Whereas with Great Eruption and Impact Wave, these cards are just too damn good. Great Eruption being able to draw you a card so it replaces itself, but then giving your opponent -2 to their cost. I mean, why would you not want to do that? And then obviously you have Impact Wave, where right now, I believe, Impact Wave is correct. I believe it's on Tabletop Simulator where it's bugged, but here it's correct, where you get to KO one of your opponent's active characters with a cost of 3 or less. So think of the Nico Robins of the world, the Okikus, all of those annoying cards, you can go ahead and pop those. If they have a blocker on their field and then turns coming back to you, you can go ahead and pop the blocker. So that way when it's back on your turn, now you don't have to deal with that. So that's what I'm running. That's what I'm happy with. If we take a look at some of the other cards, we've already talked about Marineford. We've already talked about, what else did we talk about? We talked about Marineford. We talked about Smoker, right? The 5-cost Smoker, which is here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you could think of playing. I know there's Ice Age. Ice Age, I feel like that's not a card that you really need to play because you already have so much manipulation. You have, I think, I honestly think that this build is pretty tight. I don't think that there is anything that I would play. If anything, I would change around maybe these ratios a little bit. Maybe the only other thing that I would potentially play is 5-drop Monkey D. Garp, just to continue to add more popping effects. How many copies? Probably 2, because again, it doesn't have any counter. It's a 5-drop, 6,000 power. Maybe 2 copies. I can't really see myself running 3 of them in Smoker, but I definitely can understand running a couple copies. But outside of that, I feel like if you're playing a control list of Smoker, this is probably the card lineup that you're going to play. I'm very curious though. Have you guys been playing Smoker? Do you guys have any specific builds? What do you guys recommend? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm very, very curious. For me right now, I'm having a ton of fun with this build. I'm having fun playing a more controlled, slower paced game plan. I do this all in one take, you feel me? I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, Smoker's again one of those leaders where at first glance I wasn't too fond of, but now playing him, having all the cards released and all that stuff, I think he's fun. Do I think that he's gonna completely dominate the meta? I don't know, we're gonna have to see, but he's definitely a fun deck to pilot, and I think that there's going to be matchups where he can dominate. So we'll have to see how the metagame ultimately develops. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something. And if you guys have any tech that I might be missing, please let me know in the comment section below so that way I can yoink from you guys. Because I also like to yoink the technologies, yoink the strategies from other people too. So let me know in the comment section below. Hey, maybe you can help out somebody else in the comment section too, right? 2 birds, 1 stone. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.